What's up guys, Tactic Zombies here. Hello and welcome to the first episode of my Call of Duty Zombies map retrospective series. In this video series, we'll be taking a look at every single Zombies map from Call of Duty World at War to Call of Duty Vanguard. For now though, we're going to take a look back at where it all started, Nacht der Untoten, or in English, Night of the Undead. So first, I'm going to discuss the different features that the map has, both in its World at War incarnation and its Black Ops and Black Ops 3 remasters. I will not be talking about Die Machine in this video, as that is more of a reimagining and changes enough to warrant its own video once I get to the Cold War Zombies maps. As you may or may not know, Nacht der Untoten originally began as a side mode that the developers at Treyarch made to pass the time when they were creating World at War. But it was such a hit behind the scenes that they ended up implementing it as a final secret mode when the game finally launched in 2008. Upon finishing the World at War campaign and watching the end credits, the players secretly loaded into the Zombies mode. The mode opens with a fully animated cutscene, which would not happen again until Call of the Dead and Black Ops 1. The cutscene pictures a plane crash with a thick fog in the distance. Silhouettes begin to appear from the fog as the player's vision fades in and out, and then as it fades back in, something is running at the player, and then it reveals to the player what the mode is. It's the evil World War II German zombies. Scary. The player is spawned into a creepy and desolate bunker with nothing but 500 points and a Colt M1911 with a couple of spare magazines to their name. There's a couple guns on the wall, but they're nothing more than a couple of rifles, and there's barriers that the players can board up to keep the zombies out. The building might seem familiar to those who have keen eyes, as it's actually reused from both the World at War campaign mission Hard Landing and the multiplayer map Airfield. This is a common theme with many of the World at War maps, but we'll get to that more later. With Nacht being the first Zombies map, it's to be expected that it made some of the biggest contributions to the game mode as a whole. First are the aforementioned guns on the walls that players can buy, but there's also doors, the most notorious being the help door, a door marked with glowing paint or chalk or something that says help. Players can buy open these doors and also debris blocking their path for 1,000 points. It's important to keep in mind that with Nacht der Untoten originally, the intention of the Zombies mode was to keep the zombies out. It was a tower defense mode, at least that's how Treyarch intended it to be. So dotted around the bunker are red barrels that the player can shoot in a last-ditch effort to keep the zombies from reaching the bunker. In practice, they're not all that helpful because they don't respawn and they're never kill more than a couple zombies, but it's the thought that counts. And on such a simple map with so few tools at their disposal, the player needs every bit of help they can get their hands on. Pretty soon, the rifles in the spawn room won't be able to put up a good fight anymore against the zombies, so the players will be forced to move into other parts of the building. Most people will be drawn to the help door, and upon buying the door and walking into that room, they see the biggest ace up their sleeve that they have, the mystery box. The guns on the wall can only get players so far, as even the machine gun, the Thompson, the best gun on the wall, stops putting up a good fight soon. The best weapons the player has at their disposal are kept in the mystery box. The best weapons that the player has at their disposal are kept in the mystery box. That's more like it. Among the best weapons are the LMGs, the Browning, and the MG42. These weapons have tons of ammo and very good damage, so they're fan favorites, and rightly so. Molotov cocktails can be found in the box, but they're not really worth it, as you're more likely to down yourself than you are kill any zombies. The Panzerschreck, a German-made rocket launcher, is a death sentence to anyone who grabs it, as you're very likely to down yourself with it with how tight the map is. But the holy grail in the mystery box is the ray gun, Zombies' first wonder weapon, and a fan favorite at that. The ray gun looks straight out of a 50s sci-fi movie. It's red, and it shoots lasers that explode upon impact. It's the strongest weapon on the game, or on this map at least, and it is so cool. But you have to be careful when using it, as you're not immune to the great damage it deals. It's very easy to down yourself with it, so use caution when you get it. Another tool the players have are the occasional power-ups that drop upon killing zombies. And Nacht is just the Core 5, an insta-kill power-up that makes all enemies die in a single shot. The double points power-up, which doubles how many points the players get from shooting zombies, killing zombies, or building barriers. There's the Carpenter power-up, which rebuilds all the barriers on the map for the players. There's the Nuke, which kills all the zombies that are spawned in, instantly, in a fiery blaze. The best power of them all is the Max Ammo, which refills every single player's ammo supplies immediately. This is vital for surviving the endless hordes, as ammo is a very big struggle especially once you start climbing into the later rounds. These power-ups help to create moments of anticipation and anxiety. They make the game much more exciting. So when you get an insta-kill and a double points, you feel happy, but you can feel very anxious when you're waiting for max ammo and you're starting to run out. It mixes up the gameplay and keeps it from getting too repetitive, which is the problem that this map has, which I'll get into that later when I start talking about the pros and the cons. Players can buy the debris to move upstairs, and up top, they'll find a cabinet that can be bought for 1,500 points, containing a Kar98k scoped Kar98k sniper rifle. This just further helps to show the original design philosophy was to keep the zombies away. The outside of the bunker is open. It's foggy, but like you can see the zombies coming from a mile away once they get into the actual bounds of the map. So you get the sniper, you can shoot them before they even get to the building. In practice, it's not really that effective, especially on solo, when you get so overwhelmed and they start getting into the bunker so fast. But in 4-player, I could see this being a pretty useful strategy to have a sniper on your team. The last really notable thing to mention is the grenade corner, Zombies' original camping spot. For those who are unaware, camping in Call of Duty Zombies is a strategy in which you place your back against the wall or a corner and just let the zombies funnel towards you and you shoot them as they come. Nocturne Toten, being the first map, was the progenitor of this, and this is perfectly seen in the grenade corner. The original strategy was to hit the box, get some guns you liked, and then sit at the corner until you get overwhelmed. And then you do it all over again. This was long before training, not long before, but this was before training was created. That was later in World at War, and we'll get to that. But for the time being, this was how people played zombies. And somehow, it caught on. That's it. That's all that Noct has going for it. And somehow, it caught on the way it did, and we ended up getting more maps, and eventually zombies became a Call of Duty staple. As for the story on Nocturne Toten, there isn't really too much to go off of. There's a plane crash, and there's 4 survivors who are all Marines, and they end up hiding out in the bunker because they're zombies. There's no real characters on this map. The Marines don't have names, they don't have dialogues, they don't have any characters. Because again, this was just a side mode, no one really expected it to catch on the way it did, so they weren't going to put time into story. But it's crazy though how the zombie story is so complex and convoluted, for better or worse, and it all came from here. Now that we've discussed the original, let's take a look at the changes brought in the Black Ops and Black Ops 3 versions of the map. Firstly, in Black Ops, the intro is replaced with this. I still don't think anyone knows what this is, but the song is cool. The 4 voiceless Marines are replaced by the Ultimus crew. We'll talk about more later when we get to Shi No Numa. But they have dialogue, which, for better or for worse, kind of ruins the creepy atmosphere. Now they're making quips and have just idle dialogue that they say. Part of Nocturne Toten's original atmosphere is that there was nothing aside from the sounds of the zombies and the ambience. And that's kind of gone now in the Black Ops 1 version. As for gameplay changes, there really aren't too many. All the wall weapons are the same as the World at War incarnation. The box weapons have been replaced by Black Ops 1 weapons, and there's a couple of new additions to the mystery box, but I'll get to those shortly. The biggest change is that now there is a mule kick on the map, a perk introduced in Black Ops 1, which allows the player to hold 3 guns instead of 2. This perk is in every single Black Ops 1 map, so get ready to hear about it a lot when we get to Black Ops 1. There are also some slight differences in how the game handles just from being on the Black Ops 1 engine instead of the World at War engine, but it's not too crazy of a jump. So most people will be able to hop from one to the other with very little adjustment period. The 2 major additions to the mystery box are the Thunder Gun and the Monkey Bombs. The Monkey Bombs are a tactical grenade that distracts the zombies when thrown. We'll talk about it more when we get to Der Riese, as that was where it was officially introduced to zombies. Aside from the Monkey Bombs, was also the Thunder Gun, wonder weapon that now stands alongside the ray gun in the mystery box. It can one-shot an entire horde of zombies forever. It has infinite damage, and so in theory, you'd think it would make the map much easier, but we'll get to that shortly, on why maybe it doesn't. At least not on this version of the map. As for the Black Ops 3 version, there are much more changes, and they're all bigger changes. First of all, the intro is back to the original cutscene, although they censored out the evil World War II Germans in the title card at the end and just put Call of Duty over it. This time around, all of the weapons, both on the wall and on the box, are Black Ops 3 weapons. There are no World at War weapons. All of the Black Ops 1 editions are still here, as well as there being some new ones from Black Ops 3. First of all is the Gobblegun Machine, which allows the player to run with a pack of 5 superpowered gumballs to make their game easier if they want to opt into it. I'm not going to talk about it much here, that's a Black Ops 3 thing, we'll get to it later. And then there's the Der Wunderfizz Machine, which allows players to spend 1500 points to spin for one of the 8 random perks on the map. Again, talk about it more in depth later when it gets introduced on Origins, Black Ops 2. But these changes make this map much easier. That's also aided by the new additions to the Mystery Box. The Monkey Bombs and the Thunder Gun from Black Ops 1 remain, as well as the Ray Gun Mark II being in the Mystery Box from Black Ops 2 Buried, which we'll get to that later, and the Annihilator Specialist Weapon. Again, just going to gloss over these right now, but these two weapons, the Ray Gun Mark II more so than the Annihilator is not really that good, but the Mark II especially helps to really make this map much easier than its other incarnations. At least, again, in theory. All in all, Black Ops 3 is a much greater deviation from the original World at War Nocturne Toten than Black Ops 1's version is. I'd like to really briefly mention the biggest change between World at War compared to the Black Ops 1 and 3 versions is the way zombie spawning works. On World at War Nocturne Toten, when playing solo, the zombies per round caps out at very measly 24. So, high rounding on this map is very easy compared to other maps in any of the other games. So even though Black Ops 1 and 3 have all these other benefits, like new wonder weapons and perks and all that to make the map easier, I think the World at War version is probably still the easiest just because of the very low zombie count, at least when you're playing solo. If I had to pick a hardest version of the map, I would almost certainly have to be Black Ops 1's version of Nocturne Toten, because it has more than 24 zombies per round, like World at War has, but it also lacks the gumballs and perks that Black Ops 3 has, as well as Black Ops 1's Mystery Box selection being one of the worst in the series. Many of the guns in the Mystery Box in Black Ops 1 aren't very good, but we'll talk about that more when we get to Black Ops 1. Now I'd like to talk some general pros and cons about the map. As for some pros, the map, it's where zombies began. So even if you don't like the map, which many people don't, and I understand that, you have to at least respect the map for how much it innovated, and that without Noct, zombies wouldn't be anything today, least of all the monumental mode that it has become. Another big positive this map has going forward is its very creepy and unsettling atmosphere. The horror vibe is something zombies really had for its first 2 maps, then didn't really tap into very often afterwards, and I really miss that. I like when zombies is creepy. I understand it wouldn't be as effective if it was every single map, but Noct is still one of the creepiest maps, and it's only the first. Another pro is that it's just very nostalgic. Can't really put it any other way. There's lots of fond memories on this map, and it's held in a very special place in many people's hearts, for a very good reason. Let's talk the cons real quick. Biggest of all is that the map just gets very repetitive very quickly, especially if you're playing solo. It's very small, and there's not really a whole lot to do, so after a couple of games you'd get bored of camping and want to go do something else. Many zombies maps that came later have much greater replayability, and you can't really fault Nocturne Toten for it, because it was the first, but it is still a big thorn in this map's side that even in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 1, it doesn't really ever get past, because at its core it's such a simple map that you can't make it too interesting no matter how many changes you bring to it, aside from if you did a complete overhaul like Black Ops Cold War did. And finally, the map story is very bare bones, which again, not really something they would have planned ahead for, considering zombies was never meant to be the next big thing. But in comparison to many other maps, it's just, there's nothing really to go off of, it's just a little boring. Overall, Nocturne Toten was a very fine start to Call of Duty Zombies. It's still very repetitive to a fault, but with friends it can be a blast to play, even nowadays. No matter how much it falls short compared to other maps that have released since then, you can't hold it against the map too badly because all those maps wouldn't exist without Noct. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you. It really does mean a lot. I'm still very new to this whole commentary type of video, so if you have any tips on how I can improve, please leave them in the comments and I'd be very happy to listen to them. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. hit that notification bell, and come back here next Saturday as we discuss Verrückt, a map that made some insane innovations to the Zombies mode as a whole. See you then, guys. Tactics Zombies, signing out.
Yeah, cause I got it like that. Flow so smooth like I got it on tap. Yeah, and I'ma say it be a good night while I'm on my Yingling, while I'm drinking Bud Light. Can you get it when you miss me?